Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you. Um, Last but not least, I want to mention our new sponsorship with Hennessy. We would like to thank Hennessy for all the support they've provided for this fight. And we promise to never stop, never settle until the final bell rings. So thank you guys once again. We're going to get started shortly. Enjoy the press conference. Thank you. Thank you all here.
You hear me?
Vegas. That is the site of today's final press conference between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Their faces on the side of the hotels. There's a buzz in the desert as these two fighters who don't like each other, there is some animosity, will be meeting with the press for the final time this week in anticipation of their pay-per-view fight Saturday night in Las Vegas. Saul Canelo Alvarez, Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, taking on Julio Cesar Chavez from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. That'll be the main event on Saturday night at the T-Mobile Arena. We are inside the Ka Theater at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Alongside Doug Fisher and Steve Kim, I'm Beto Duran. Thank you for joining us. We're moments away from this press conference, which will be started by the Hall of Famer Oscar De La Hoya. And he'll be speaking to the media and to the members of the fans that are out here in Las Vegas able to check it out. There's a buzz all over the hotel in Las Vegas. Yesterday was the grand arrivals. Doug and I were there. And Doug, we saw fans for both fighters, and it's only Tuesday. It was going up, and people were ready to go.
It's rare that you get that kind of a turnout this early during a big fight week here in Las Vegas. It reminds me of mega fights from the past, going back to when Oscar De La Hoya fought Fernando Vargas. That was 2002. Yeah. But it was the same kind of situation where you had two very well-known fighters who had a rivalry. It was very personal. They didn't like each other, and their fan bases were like-minded. The fan bases definitely were loyal in following their fighter.
They were loud. It was the grand arrivals for everybody on the pay-per-view. There you see Joseph Diaz, Emmanuel Tino Avila, Lucas Matisse takes on Emmanuel Taylor, David Lemieux, Marco Reyes. The mariachi was inside the ring. There's Matisse, La Máquina from Argentina. David Lemieux, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That'll be the co-feature. And then when Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. walked into the hotel, there was a good amount of buzz.
Oh, yeah, and there was a rise in the energy. And, of course, for hardcore fans, they knew that Canelo was not going to be far behind, and everyone's interested in seeing what these guys look like at their current weight going into this strange catch weight fight.
They will be fighting at 164.5 pounds. Now, Steve Kim, there are a lot of media from Mexico. There's a lot of media all over the world. You have a lot of Argentina media coming with Matisse. The buzz for it, though, you've been around boxing a long time. You can feel it because of these two going back and forth.
Well, I saw tangible evidence this afternoon or this morning and getting breakfast at the local cafe here at the MGM Grand that looking on the television screen, there was Teddy Atlas of the four-letter network ESPN doing a large segment and a hit. In fact, ESPN will be doing coverage of this fight throughout the week on various platforms. There's no doubt about this. This is not just a quote-unquote Mexican fight, but Doug, I'll say this. I think the animosity from these two guys, it is reminiscent of Barrera Morales.
Well, that speaks well of this fight because, for my money, that's the best Mexico versus Mexico showdown, at least in my lifetime. And that turned into a trilogy.
Barrera Morales, there was a fight at the press conferences,
right?
That's right. I don't think we're going to get one of those today, but Jessica Rosales, another member of our crew, she's on the stage right now. She'll be handling interviews all afternoon long. Jessica, who are you with?
Hey guys, thanks so much. Now we're here with Oscar De La Hoya, and you guys have been talking about the buzz that is surrounding this fight. And of course, yesterday for the grand arrivals, it is a Tuesday, and that place was packed with people. What is so exciting about this fight that is getting everybody so amped up and excited?
You know, the whole Cinco de Mayo weekend, the fact that you have two great champions fighting against each other, and it so happens to be that they're Mexican. People know that this is a guaranteed, action-packed, all-out war. It's going to be civil war. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. We haven't had one of these events and fights in such a long time on Cinco de Mayo weekend. I can recall Barrera versus Morales. In terms of action, that's the type of fight we're going to get.
Now, this is one of those fights that it's absolutely more than just a fight. There's a lot more riding on this. Whoever wins this is basically going to be the one representing Mexico, the one great champion right now. When you're a fighter and you're in that type of a situation and you know that a win for this kind of fight is that big, what does that do for your motivation and then having to go through the motions of a fight week?
Well, being an ex-fighter myself, I know what it's like to be in these types of events. It brings out the best in you. It brings out more than the best in you. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is in the best shape of his life, along with his father, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Nacho Beristain. They've done all their work. They've They've done all the hard work in the gym, up in the mountains, where the great legend trained himself. And so I believe that come fight night, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is not only going to be in the best shape of his life, but he's gonna be a different fighter because of the magnitude of this event. He's gonna try new things. It's kind of almost like an out-of-body experience. You know, you're a whole new fighter because of the excitement that's surrounding this type of event. And what can I say about Canelo? Canelo's always in great shape. He has great trainers with Chepo and Eddie. He's a professional when it comes to his work ethic is just impeccable. It's going to be a great fight.
And so we do know that as fight week progresses, that means we're just getting closer to the fight. So Oscar, we're going to go ahead and let you get this press conference started.
Thank you. Hi there. We will now be introducing the fighters. First off, we would like to introduce Chavez, and here's a little video so you can take a look at it. Now here is Canelo.
Todo lo que he hecho en mi vida ha sido en preparación para cada reto, para ganar cada pelea, para ser el mejor boxeador del mundo. Estoy orgulloso de seguir la extensa tradición de boxeadores mexicanos y hacerle honor a su legado. El sábado por la noche el mundo va a presenciar un gran espectáculo de boxeo mexicano. Una batalla de poder contra poder, para ganarse el corazón de la gente mexicana. Esta es una guerra civil.
The fans don't just turn out for him, they love him.
He comes out and he methodically takes his opponents apart. Any punch he wants to throw is landing, and he's landing with force. Canelo Alvarez is in the zone right now. Man, when he lets his hands go, it's 5, 6, 7 shots to his eye, and he lands most of them. And he's a heck of a combination fighter.
Quiero agradecerle a mi familia, a mis amigos que están siempre apoyándome. Todo esto es por ellos.
He knocked him out cold. How about Canelo Alvarez? Wow.
La era del Canelo es la mejor. ¡Viva México!
Voz de la guitarra mía, al despertar la mañana, quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana.
I will be speaking in Spanish and say a few words out of respect of the whole Cinco de Mayo weekend and having two Mexican fighters here on the dais. El 5 de mayo de 1862 es la recordada fecha histórica de la batalla de Puebla entre los ejércitos de México y Francia, en la que el ejército mexicano pudo derrotar a una potencia extranjera mejor preparada como lo eran en ese entonces los franceses. 155 años han pasado de esa épica y cruenta batalla, y recordando ese hecho tan importante, lo celebraremos con el esperado combate entre los destacados peleadores mexicanos Canelo Alvarez y Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. este sábado 6 de mayo en el tinglado de la flamante T-Mobile Arena. Este histórico pleito será el primero entre dos púgiles netamente mexicanos, combatiendo en el clamado fin de semana del 5 de mayo en vivo por HBO en su sistema de pago por evento, y en el que el ganador será el declarado como el mejor peleador de México y del mundo. Por orgullo, por su patria, por sus valores, como ciudadanos mexicanos, así se puede definir esta contienda de alto riesgo que los seguidores de ambos peleadores han esperado por tanto tiempo. La hora ha llegado. Ambos necesitan la victoria para proseguir en su ruta hacia la inmortalidad y para constituirse como el máximo representante del boxeo azteca. Podemos mencionar muchas peleas entre mexicanos, como Olivares contra Castillo, Zárate contra Zamora, Zárate frente a Pintor, Chávez ante Julio José Luis Ramírez, Chávez antes de la Hoya, Morales frente a Barrera, Barrera contra Márquez, Vázquez ante Márquez, Vargas frente a Salido y tantas más. Pero esta entre Canelo contra Chávez Jr. se cocina aparte, pues cuenta con todos los ingredientes para hacer vibrar de emoción a los fervientes fanáticos al arte de Fistiana. Definitivamente Canelo Chávez Jr. traspasa las fronteras del protagonismo por todo lo que encierra esta batalla del boxeo moderno y se fortifica en todo momento por todo interés que ha generado, trayendo a nuestra memoria esa histórica batalla del 5 de mayo de 1862. ¿Quién es su gallo? Hagan sus apuestas, señores, y los esperamos este sábado 6 de mayo para celebrar en grande con una fiesta de puro boxeo en todo su esplendor. Gracias. Y que viva México. To the press, to the fighters and their teams, all the fans here in Las Vegas, welcome to the final press conference for the Canelo Chavez Jr., the biggest boxing event of 2017. Given the enormous fan interest in this fight, the Cinco de Mayo date, and the obvious bad blood between these two boxers, I think it's safe to say this is the biggest fight in the history of Mexico. In fact, one look at the legends in this dais tells you all you need to know about the size of this fight. You have Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., you have Bernard Hopkins, you have Canelo, you have Chavez Jr. But to give you an idea of just how big this event is, let me give you some numbers. This will be the most attended indoor boxing match in the long and storied history of Las Vegas, with more than 20,000 fans expected to jam into the T-Mobile Arena Saturday night. This fight sold out in less than 10 days, almost unheard of in today's fight game. Demand has been so high, we have opened up 6 more closed circuit locations across Las Vegas, and tickets are selling fast. Fight fans in 6 continents will be able to view the action on Saturday night. And best of all, between HBO's incredible reach through its platform on HBO pay-per-view and the fact that the fights will be available streaming online at www.goldenboyppv.com, anyone with a television, with a phone or a laptop will be able to see this mega fight from anywhere they choose. One last thing before I introduce members of the dais. From the moment I made this fight, I have to be clear that the size of this fight transcends belts. It is bigger than belts. Canelo has every right to accept or not accept a belt, and I stand by him 100%. I will introduce the fighters and the teams in a moment, but first I want to introduce some of our partners who made this Cinco de Mayo extravaganza possible. At this moment, I would like to introduce to you the director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, my good friend, Bob Bennett. Bob.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, I'd like to welcome you to Las Vegas and to the fight capital of the world. The Cinco de Mayo celebration, promoted by Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, has a very, very special meaning. This meaning, is that we honor and respect the 2,000 Mexican men and the Mexican army who crushed the French army of 6,000 fighters, that being a 3-to-1 ratio, to fight for their land. An inspiration for all, especially for us underdogs. For these true Mexican warriors, there's no better time to have these 2 great fights Friday and Saturday night. There's no doubt the Nevada State Athletic Commission is honored, prepared, and ready to go to work. I'd like to let you know, on an aside, that the Nevada State Athletic Commission is a team. And I would like to make an analogy to baseball. The chairman and the commissioners are the owners. I'm the manager, and the officials get paid to hit the ball out of the park. It's all business. I do a great deal of research, statistical analysis, and I know all the officials who have worked in Las Vegas under pressure. This is all critical in my recommendations to the Chairman Anthony Marnell III, and the commissioners in the selection of the officials for this very, very important fight. We're regulators. We have no financial interest like the promoters or the broadcasters or the venues. It's strictly business. To us, our #1 priority is the fighter, and the process is extremely important to us, and we spend a significant amount of time during this. I would like to inform you once again that I have recommended 3 U.S. judges and 1 U.S. referee for the Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Chavez Jr. special extravaganza fight. Should be an electric fight. You should know, though, that the 3 judges selected for this fight have over 380 championship fights combined, which equates to 3,592 rounds. The referee selected for this fight has over 68 championship fights and over 800 bouts. The 4 officials that have been selected to officiate this fight have consistently performed exceptionally well under pressure in Las Vegas, and we expect the same come Saturday night. That is what I look for. I look for consistency under pressure. And unfortunately, if one of the officials should have an off night, the other two should be able to pick up the ball so that the right fighter will win the fight, because that's what we're all about, the fighters. I would also at this time like to tell you that we have selected world-class officials that have consistently performed and will do their job once again. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Richard Sturm and the MGM for promoting another world-class fight or hosting another world-class fight. HBO, of course, for broadcasting this event. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the media for covering this event and for your dedication to boxing. And last but not least, thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Bob. Now at this moment, I'd like to introduce a man who has been involved in some of the biggest fights in the history of Las Vegas. I'm proud to call him a partner on the Canelo Chavez Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Sturm, President of Entertainment and Sports for MGM Resorts International.
Good afternoon, and welcome to all the media, fighters, Golden Boy Promotions, HBO Sports, and fight fans watching worldwide. A little more than 1 year ago, we hosted our first sensational boxing events at the new T-Mobile Arena. We are thrilled to once again be a part of history when T-Mobile Arena hosts this Cinco de Mayo weekend celebration and championship fight between Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. As many of you have witnessed firsthand, T-Mobile Arena has changed the entertainment landscape in Las Vegas and has quickly become one of the industry's leading venues for top events. We all look forward to this tremendous matchup as Canelo returns to Las Vegas following last May's win over Amir Khan, and Chavez Jr. and his team return to Las Vegas for the first time in nearly 5 years as he prepares to take on one of sports' top champions on Saturday night. We'd like to give a special thanks to Oscar De La Hoya, Robert Gaspari, and the Golden Boy Promotions team, both fight camps, our good friend Tony Walker with HBO Sports, and of course Bob Bennett with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Thank you for joining us here in the Carr Theater at the MGM Grand. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday night at T-Mobile Arena for this great event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Next, I'd like to introduce a member of the best boxing television network in the business. I was fortunate enough to fight almost exclusively on HBO throughout my career, and their shows remain head and shoulders above the rest. We are lucky to have Tony Walker, Vice President of Programming for HBO Pay-Per-View, with us today. Tony?
Thanks, Oscar. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our Executive Vice President of Sports, Peter Nelson, and the rest of the HBO staff, I'd like to thank everybody for coming and talking big-time boxing today. A lot of credit should go to Oscar and Eric and the Golden Boy team for putting together a show that honors the tradition of Cinco de Mayo and also gives us a great fight that is in keeping with the sort of fights we've often seen on Cinco de Mayo when we have such a great sports weekend. We know that Canelo and Julio are going to give us a great fight in the ring. They're both two veterans, skilled, very talented fighters with a lot at stake because their careers will both be, affected by what happens. But I think we should also acknowledge that these two gentlemen have consistently been able to fill up arenas, to sell TV, and in this age of fragmented TV viewing and a lot of things to do, the ability to get people to pay to see you on TV consistently over years is quite remarkable, And a lot of credit should go to them for developing a style and a personality that people actually care about. And we think them together on Saturday will be something very special. I'd like to thank all the distributors, the cable companies, the satellite companies who have worked so hard to make sure everyone knows that this fight is happening. It's going to be easy to order. The suggested retail price is $59.95. And of course, I'd like to thank our friends at the MGM Grand, Mr. Sturm and his staff. We get treated like royalty here, and they always make it very easy to do our broadcast. Lastly, I would like to ask that you inform all your viewers, listeners, readers, that there's some great HBO video about the upcoming fight that they can see on all our digital channels, HBO Go, HBO On Demand, our HBO YouTube channel. I think it was mentioned earlier, Canelo against Chavez, a winning tradition, a fighting tradition, is still there. You can see a great intense face-off that features the fighters and Max Kellerman. And of course, there are several old fights that showcase the fighters at their best. So 6 p.m. Saturday night, the pay-per-view telecast starts. It's going to be special, it's going to be exciting, and we promise a great broadcast. So thank you everybody for coming, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you, Tony. Now I'd like to introduce to you a man who really needs no introduction. He is a former two-division world champion. He is my partner at Golden Boy Promotions. He knows a thing or two about the middleweight division. He is a legend. He's fought the very best. He's been in there against the very best. And he continues being an ambassador for the sport and for the fighters. My partner, Bernard Hopkins.
First, I'd like to say to everyone, you know, this is one of those fights every year we see where you have names thrown around about big fights. This is a big one. I don't know the last time we've seen a Mexican fight, a Mexican of this magnitude in a while, where you have pride and you have dignity and heart and talent all in one. And I'm looking for probably one of the biggest, is not brutal fights, it's tough fights, because I see that Chavez is coming with legacy behind him, and he's coming also to prove that whatever happened in the past won't happen Saturday. But Canelo, who's the face of one of the most proudest months in boxing, May and September, and now that we have that new face in boxing to represent the most important month of boxing, one of them, I know he wants to continue to represent that in the future. But I'm looking for a good fight, enjoy it, because like I said, you know, we crave and we talk about when this is gonna happen, when that's gonna happen. Here we go. So enjoy it and just pay attention.
Before we introduce the teams, I just want to point out that boxing in 2017 has a chance, an opportunity to come out of hiatus. We've had Joshua versus Klitschko, which sold out the arena out in the UK in Manchester with 90,000 people. We now have Canelo Chavez. We have September reserved. We have Ward versus Kovalov coming up. And the list goes on and on and on. So I do want to take this opportunity to all the sponsors and all the fans, and especially the media, for uplifting the sport that we dearly love. The fighters give us the action. The fighters give us some beautiful performances. But it's you guys, the sponsors, the media, and the fans who make it all possible. So thank you very much for that. Ahora les quiero presentar el equipo Chavez Jr. And to introduce the team, I will call up to the podium. He is the representative for Chavez Jr., and he is Guadalupe Valencia. Guadalupe.
Thank you to all my fans. I heard Oscar say he had September reserved also, but he hasn't talked to us. So at some point, I think he should talk to us about the September date. First of all, I'd like to thank a lot of the people who have been around Julio throughout his career, but especially in this training camp. His wife, Frida, his 2 daughters, they spent 8 weeks in Otomi with Julio, supporting him. It was a very difficult camp. It's a lonely place in the mountains of Otomi with very little Wi-Fi and very little access to the outside world, and they were there the entire time supporting him. I'd also like to thank other people who were critical to this entire camp on the Chavez Jr. side. Sean Gibbons, who's been a great support for Julio for a better part of his career. Juan Carlos Torres, and also the hard work of Al Heyman during the negotiations in this fight. On this side, we have a cast of legends that don't need much introduction. The very famous, probably in my opinion, the best trainer in the history of the world alive today, Mr. Nacho Beristain. He's also got a big following. And also, we got Memo Heredia, one of the most known and important strength and conditioning coaches. I think he's done a wonderful job. As you guys could see, Julio looks relaxed, he looks in shape, and the weight is not going to be a problem. And Mr. Heredia is one of the people that could be thanked for that. And of course, we have the legend whose name I don't need to say. Everybody knows his history, and he's the father of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's been an amazing experience to be around this group of legends and just hearing the stories of what they've done in their career. But most of all, I think that everybody has come together to try to make this historic event happen. As everybody has mentioned before, this was a very important moment in the history of Mexico, and this fight is a very important moment in the history of Mexico. And we talk about a lot of big fights, and their moment, lots of other fights were the important fight. But I believe that in our lifetime, for Mexico, for the Mexican fans, I think this is the fight. This is the fight of the moment. Both sides have worked really hard. Both fighters have trained really hard. And the day of Saturday, May 6th, there's going to be a bell, and all we can do is watch. I'm very confident that Julio has done everything that he can to make sure that he's victorious. And I'll talk to Oscar about September date also after the fight. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Let's call up to the podium para decir unas palabritas el señor Nacho Beristain para que hable de la preparación, del entrenamiento. If you can do it from the...
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Ignacio Beristain, todos conocidos. Tengo 58 años en este medio.
I've been in boxing
He
for
manejado
58
algunos
years.
peleadores importantes aquí en Las Vegas. Ahora me toca estar con Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Hicimos una preparación extensa, 2 meses encerrados en el Otomí, con el invierno más crudo que haya pasado en esa zona, y nos dio la idea y la ilusión de aspirar a la victoria frente a un peleador de gran calidad como es Saúl Álvarez, que todo el mundo quisiera pelear con él y ganarle, y nosotros no somos la excepción, aspiramos a la victoria. Gracias.
I've been in boxing for 58 years. I've had many big fights here in Las Vegas, and I'm very proud to be here with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. For this fight. We've trained really hard under very tough conditions for the past 2 months, and we aspire victory. We are inspired by everything that we have done. I am with a fighter that has lots and lots of qualities, and I'm very proud to be here, and I think that we're going to do well.
Thank you very much. Next to say a few words, he is the conditioning coach who has done a terrific job in getting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in shape. He is Memo Heredia to say a few words. Memo.
How you doing, guys? Good afternoon to the media, and thanks for being here. Just wanted to say that it was one of the most important camps for me as a goal as a strength conditioner. We did a good camp. Like Nacho said, we had been 2 months in training camp in isolation with different weather issues, you know, very cold and everything, but it was all worth it for the fact that we all want the best for Junior, and Junior gave us the best he could that the whole camp. So we feel confident there's going to be a tremendous fight, and obviously it's a good fight for the Mexicans, for the Mexican people. That is two good boxers as Canelo and Chavez Jr. will finally face each other. And I just want to thank everyone for the support, the media for being there, and some of the Mexican media like Chava was coming, visiting, and TV Azteca and different media outlets to the training camp where it was not easy to get, but it was all worth it, and thank you very much. It's an honor to be with Nacho, Don Chavez, and Guadalupe Valencia, as also my lawyer, and everybody here. Thank you very much.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you a man who needs no introduction the world over. He has been a great ambassador for boxing. He's my hero, my inspiration, why I got into this sport. And I had the honor and the pleasure to fight him twice, and will always be my hero. That is Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Julio.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muy contento de estar aquí y muy contento de que se acerque este sábado. Creo que he vivido momentos muy grandes en mi carrera, donde dicen que México se paralizaba cuando peleaba. No me consta porque yo estaba peleando, pero creo que esta pelea es similar o más grande que la mía. Creo que esta pelea va a paralizar todo México, y muy contento, muy satisfecho con la preparación sobre todo de Julio. Sabemos que es una pelea difícil, una pelea dura, pero no imposible de ganar, porque arriba del ring se gana y se pierde, y cuando se lleva una mentalidad triunfadora, las cosas pueden suceder de una manera positiva. Y para ya no hablar mucho, voy a decir una frase que dijo con todo respeto Canelo: vamos a dejarnos de mamaditas y el sábado vamos a ver de qué cuero salen más correas. Gracias.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that Saturday is close. I've lived many big moments in my life. This is one of the biggest moments and probably one of the biggest fights in my life. This is a fight that's consuming Mexico. It's a very difficult fight, but it's a fight that can be won inside the ring. Everything is possible inside of the ring. Thank you.
Gracias, gracias. With boxing royalty in his blood, he's a former world middleweight champion. He has proven that he is worthy of carrying the legacy. he inherited by his father, living legend and six-time world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. In his most recent performance, Chavez Jr. met with highly regarded Dominique Breach, winning the bout via unanimous decision. Ladies and gentlemen, he is in the best shape of his life, as his team mentioned, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Primero que nada, pues agradecer a todos por venir a la última conferencia de prensa.
I want to thank everybody for being here at this last press conference.
Me siento listo, me siento contento de que la pelea ya esté a pocos días.
I feel ready and I feel happy that the fight is only a few days away.
Sigo en la misma postura, vengo a ganar, no solamente a pelear.
I came here to win, not just to fight.
Yo creo que ya no hay mucho que decir, todo lo que se tuvo que decir se dijo en el pasado. Estamos listos para una gran pelea y para ganar. Muchas gracias.
Everything has already been said. We've all spoken, and I'm here to win this great fight.
Thank you very much. Gracias, Julio. Now to introduce to you Team Canelo. First off, he is the trainer, he is the manager. He has been doing an incredible job with Canelo Alvarez. And I strongly believe that they haven't really received the credit they deserve. As you can see, Canelo's getting better, faster, stronger, and that's because of his team that he has in his corner. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you a man they call Chepo, José Chepo Reynoso.
¿Qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos ustedes. No hay fecha que no se llegue, ni plazo que no se cumpla, dice un dicho muy mexicano. Y efectivamente, tuvieron que pasar varios años para que se concretara esta gran pelea. Afortunadamente, para nosotros y para toda la afición, esto ya es un hecho. Solo faltan algunos días para que suban arriba y hablen con las manos, hablen con los puños y sostengan lo que se dijeron abajo del ring. Así que en el equipo Canelo nos declaramos listos para luchar por la victoria y que gane el que merezca ganar. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for everybody for being here. You know, there's a saying in Mexico that there's not a date that won't arrive, and the date is here. We're a couple of days away. We've had a great camp, and this has been brewing. This has been cooking for many years, and we're just a few days away. And come Saturday night, Team Canelo is very confident that the work has been put in and that we will raise our hands in victory. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Chepo. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to introduce to you one of the premier trainers in the sport today. Eddie Reynoso has worked side by side with Canelo from the beginning and has helped guide him to incredible success inside the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Reynoso. Eddie.
Buenas tardes. Antes que nada, gracias por su asistencia.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before I start, I'd like to thank everybody for your assistance.
Hemos trabajado no 2 meses, nosotros hemos trabajado durante muchos años juntos con la misma disciplina, con la misma ilusión, con las ganas de llegar hasta donde estamos en este momento.
We've worked many years, hard, sacrifices, and worked really with a lot of discipline to get to where we are today.
Hemos hecho un gran trabajo, lo único que nos queda es sellarlo el día sábado y pues estamos listos. Muchísimas gracias.
We've had a fantastic camp. We've done all the hard work and we're just waiting for Saturday night. Thank you very much. We're ready.
Thank you. Gracias, Eddie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you the biggest star in boxing today. At the age of 26, he has an astonishing record of 48-1 with 34 knockouts and is only getting bigger and stronger and faster. Fight fans, the best has yet to come from Canelo Alvarez. He is a captivating fighter with a global audience of millions of fans eager to watch more and more of him. This is a man who never backs down from a fight, having gone up to face Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Shane Mosley, James Kirkland, Alfredo Angulo, Austin Trout, the American Dream Lara, and Miguel Cotto, and the list goes on and on and on, and he's only 26 years old. Let me introduce to you a man they called Canelo, and that is Saúl Canelo Alvarez.
Muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí, gracias a todos por el apoyo que le han brindado a esta pelea. Pues ya todo lo que se hizo, se hizo. Estamos listos para el sábado, espero disfruten de una gran pelea.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all the support you've given this fight. And look, all the job, everything that had to be done has been done. And we're ready for Saturday night for a great fight.
De mi parte pondré todo para que esta pelea quede en la historia del boxeo mexicano. Estamos listos y disfruten de una gran pelea. Gracias.
On my behalf, I'm going to do everything on my side so that this fight can become one of the most historic fights in the history of Mexico. We're ready. Enjoy Saturday night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we open it up for questions from the media, I just want to say that, like Sylvester Stallone and Canelo would say, be bold and watch it on HBO pay-per-view Saturday night, 5 de Mayo. You don't want to miss it. Thank you very much.
¿Qué tal? Martín Navarro de Notisistema en Guadalajara, Jalisco. Saúl, mencionas que el que gane va directo al corazón de los mexicanos. Es decir, ¿esto es más que una simple pelea y que ya trasciende a nivel mundial?
No, mira, la verdad es que me siento muy orgulloso, me siento muy contento que esta pelea esté acaparando el boxeo mundial entre dos mexicanos. Creo que es un orgullo para mí. Creo que siempre él va a tener sus fans, yo voy a tener los míos al final. Entonces, más que nada es una pelea para seguir haciendo historia. Es una pelea muy importante para el boxeo mexicano, para el boxeo en general, así que espero la disfruten.
René Romero para TV Azteca. Con todo respeto para los dos, han sido muy criticados, se les ha criticado, se ha cuestionado que no son lo mejor de todo México. Esto podría dejar claro que el que pierda no es en verdad una estrella del boxeo mexicano. Me gustaría que los dos me pudieran responder eso.
No, bueno, yo creo que el éxito viene de la mano de la crítica, ¿no? Eso ha pasado con todos los campeones que ha habido y es normal, ¿no? Yo creo que para eso se hizo esta pelea, ¿no? Siempre es para ver quién es mejor y para eso está, claro que sí.
The question was for both fighters. There's been heavy criticism to both of you to see who's the winner, who's the best, who can carry that flag of the best Mexican fighter. Do you think the loser can now accept that? And look, that's what Canelo says. That's what this fight was made for. That's what this fight is done. And it'll see on Saturday night who will carry that.
Kendra Johnson, Ring TV. This is for Canelo. Canelo, do you feel that this fight is a major step for your legacy, that you need this to build that golden legacy that you want to establish?
Claro que sí, todas las peleas para mí son importantes para seguir haciendo historia. Esta es una una pelea que es muy importante para seguir haciendo mi historia como peleador, claro que sí. Entonces me siento muy contento y motivado de que sea sábado.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, every fight of my career is very important. I got to keep winning. I got to keep writing history. I got to keep building on my career, and this fight is no exception. So I'm very excited. I'm happy that Saturday is nearby.
Sí, Saúl, Julio Cesar Chávez Jr., saludos Salvador Rodríguez para ESPN. ¿Qué mensaje le mandan a la afición? Sabemos que la afición se ha polarizado en México. Como dices, los que te aman quizás te odien, los que lo aman quizás también lo odien. ¿Qué mensaje le mandan pensando en los momentos que viven los mexicanos en esta nación, en esta parte de la frontera?
The question is, what can you send? What message can you send to the fans in Mexico? There's fans obviously that love you. There's probably fans that hate you. Likewise to Julio, the fans that love you, that hate you. What message can you send, especially in these tough times, to the Mexican fans?
De mi parte, lo único que les puedo decir es que se sientan orgullosos de lo que estamos haciendo a nivel mundial, 2 mexicanos. Creo que eso es lo primero que tienen que sentirse orgullosos, ¿no? Porque cualquier mexicano en cualquier parte del mundo podemos hacer mucho. Creo que lo primero que nada se tienen que sentir orgullosos. Y después, pues los que critiquen, pero orgullosos se deben de sentir.
The first thing I could tell them is, look, be proud, be honored that 2 Mexicans can do good things in another country, and we can work hard and put put us on the map and show what we can do. So first thing, to be proud, be honored. Second thing, the critics are always going to be there. They're always going to criticize, and just be proud of it.
Sí, yo creo que tienen que sentirse orgullosos y creo que no deben de criticar esta pelea porque es una pelea que la gente le ha pedido durante mucho tiempo. Se hizo ya la pelea esta, estamos a unos días de que se realice la pelea y pues siempre va a haber críticas, pero creo que la gente que nos critica en este momento nos va a criticar siempre, ¿no? Porque entonces, ¿qué más podemos hacer?
I think that everybody needs to be proud. We have to be proud of this. There's always going to be critics. The reason that we made this fight is because that's what the people wanted to watch, and we're going to do our best. But the critics will always be there.
We're going to do 2 more and then do the paces.
Buenas tardes, Jesús López para ESPN Deportes Radio Las Vegas. Saúl, una pregunta. ¿No sería bueno que de ganar esta pelea aceptaras el cinturón y de alguna manera se subastara para que con eso se ayudara a la comunidad huichola de Jalisco que tanto lo necesita? Y una pregunta también para Julio Cesar Chávez Jr. Así es, hay muchas, Saúl. Para Chávez Jr., ¿cómo ha impactado en ti el ser entrenado por el señor Nacho Baristain? ¿Ha cambiado tu manera de ver el boxeo? Gracias.
Okay, so the question to Canelo is, wouldn't it be good that you accept this belt and maybe auction it off to help the people of the Huichol community, the culture?
No, por mí que se subaste, yo no tengo problema en eso. Creo que yo desde los 14 años, 15 años conozco a gente huichol. De hecho, tenemos un campeón con orígenes huicholes, así que por mí está bien lo que sea. Si quieren que se subaste y que se lo den a la gente huichol, yo con mucho gusto.
On my behalf, I'm very happy that if they auction it off and raise money and help the community of the Huichol culture, because ever since I was 14 years old, I've always been close to the Huichols. In fact, in my gym, we have a world champion of Huichol culture. So yes, I would be all for an auction.
Buenas tardes, Ernesto Amador de Univisión Deportes. La pregunta no es para los peleadores, es para 2 legendarios peleadores, para Julio César Chávez padre y Oscar de la Hoya. Vivieron grandes batallas. ¿Cómo viven esta pelea ahora, estando abajo del cuadrilátero y siendo parte de los 2 equipos?
No, pues, bueno, el Canelo es como, de la Hoya es como su papá, entonces debe sentirse también un poco nervioso. Yo me siento, pues, nervioso como padre, ¿no? O sea, yo sé que en el boxeo se gana y se pierde. Lógicamente, sé que Julio puede perder, puede ganar, pero pues que sea lo que Dios quiera.
Well, you know, Oscar is like Canelo's dad. With regards to me, I'm nervous. I know that inside of the ring, somebody could win, somebody could lose. I know that anything can happen, but I think that Julio could win, and that's what's going to happen.
No, pues yo me siento orgulloso de ser parte de este evento. Yo obviamente, el Canelo es un boxeador profesional que no se prepara, pero siempre está preparado para pelear y ganar. Así que uno se siente tranquilo, pero bien emocionado de promover a un boxeador con mucha disciplina.
I'm very honored to be promoting, to be involved in this event. But look, with Canelo Alvarez, he's a fighter that doesn't have to prepare because he's always prepared. And that gives me the tranquility to know what's coming Saturday night.
Good. We will now pose the fighters for pictures. Gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Gracias. And thank you to TGB Promotions for being our partners in this event. Thank you.
Now we can.
All right, so we're going to continue the conversation. We have Canelo here with us right now. And of course, as we were saying, some people doubt Junior's commitment to this fight. What do you have to say about that and how do you feel towards it?
No, me siento muy contento de que venga listo, de que esté preparado. Creo que eso quiere decir que vamos a entregarle a la afición una gran pelea. Yo estoy listo desde hace muchos años, siempre me gusta prepararme al 100% y esta no es la excepción.
Well, he's very happy to hear that because that way there's no excuses. You know, he's anxious that the fight gets here, and if he's prepared very well, then that's a guarantee that we're going to give the fans a very great fight come Saturday night.
And this is definitely a fight for the fans. People have been showing up since Monday to come and watch this fight that's happening on Saturday. How do you feel about how everybody's been receiving this fight from the very beginning that it was announced?
No, me siento muy contento, agradecido con la afición por el apoyo que le han brindado a esta pelea y yo pondré todo de mi parte para entregarles una gran pelea y ojalá disfruten el sábado por la noche.
Look, I'm very happy with the support and the love and you know, all the support the fans are giving this particular fight, and that's why I'm going to give it that extra. I'm motivated to give them that extra, give them that fight on Saturday night.
And at 164.5, that's a new weight for you, but will we be seeing a new Canelo out there as well?
No, obviamente es un peso nuevo para mí, me siento muy bien, creo que sí van a ver a un nuevo Canelo, veremos el sábado, me siento bastante bien, entonces el sábado es nomás poner todo el trabajo que realizamos durante toda la preparación.
I feel very good. Yes, it's a new weight, it's a new division, but I feel very, very good. And come Saturday night, we're going to do everything that we've prepared for in the gym, in camp, to put it all on display.
Thanks, Robert, and of course, Canelo, gracias a ti. Mucha suerte.
Canelo Alvarez speaking with Jessica Rosales, finished up with the final press conference. The last time we're going to hear these two. An interesting press conference, and you know, come Wednesday, these guys are trying to make weight. You know, they all said it. You know, we've talked enough. They've been on a tour all over the United States. They went to Mexico. They've been talking about it for months, Steve, and it's more of just, you can feel the animosity, but also the anticipation of, let's get something going already.
Well, you can also feel the wariness. I believe that Canelo Alvarez was much more relaxed than Julio Cesar Chavez, who quite frankly looked irritable. And it was Canelo who did the interview with Jess Rosales. Chavez did not stick around. I really believe, Doug, this has to be the easiest fight week for Canelo in years. I believe the highest he's ever fought for a weigh-in is 155. He now gets a 9.5-pound cushion.
And before you answer that, Doug, Jessica Rosales is back on stage with another guest.
All right, thanks so much, Beto. We do have with us here Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and of course, we have just finished the press conference. We're getting closer to the fight. How are you feeling right now?
I feel ready to the fight. Me preparé muy bien, dile, estoy listo para la pelea.
He said, I prepared very well and I am ready for this fight. Y pues, ahorita estamos hablando hoy con toda la prensa, pero a ver todos los aficionados que han llegado desde el lunes para esta pelea, ¿eso qué te dice para ti?
No, es un compromiso grande, es una pelea que tiene tintes especiales. Creo que mucha gente mexicana va a venir a Las Vegas, ya llegaron muchos de ellos. Y creo que eso pues nos pone una presión para darles una buena pelea a todos.
He said that a lot of people have already come out here to this fight. A lot of the Mexican people are coming out here. They'll be coming out to see this fight on Saturday, and it puts a lot of pressure on them to put out a good fight. And of course, this is guaranteed to be a good fight between two Mexican warriors. Sabemos que tenemos dos guerreros mexicanos que van a pelear este sábado. Pues, ¿qué pueden esperar todos? What can everybody expect to see this Saturday?
Yo creo que una pelea muy buena, una gran pelea, porque los estilos se prestan para eso. Yo creo que el que suba el de peso, el que yo baje de peso, eso hace la pelea más pareja, más competitiva. Y creo que va a ser una pelea muy dura y que los aficionados van a ganar.
He said it's going to be a great fight because of the styles, because of that weight class. It's going to make this a lot easier. And of course, the fans are the ones who are going to win because it's going to be a very even match. Julio, muchas gracias por el tiempo y suerte este sábado. Or we'll send it back to the guys.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. main event Saturday pay-per-view. And Doug, the weight of 164.5. He hasn't seen that in a while.
No, not since September of
Julio Cesar
2012.
Chavez,
That's
you've
the last
come to
time
Vegas
he's
to
weighed
other fights
under
knowing that you weren't
106.
100%. For this fight, you put in the work at Centro Ceremonial Otomí. How does that make you feel in terms of being able to pull off the upset against Canelo on Saturday?
Bueno, eso me da confianza, me da serenidad para saber que traigo una gran condición y así poder dar una gran pelea y ganar.
That makes me very confident knowing that I put in the hard work, put in the preparation, and that I am capable of winning. When I ask you, what does 164.5 pounds mean?
Oh, million. Pues es un peso que se pactó y tenemos que darlo para no pagar $1 million.
It's simply the weight for this fight, and $1 million is what it means because I can't go overweight because that's what the penalty will be for this fight. Boxing is an individual sport, but Don Nacho Beristain has now become a part of your team. What does teamwork mean for you in this particular camp?
Es muy importante porque Don Nacho y Heredia pues son parte del equipo, ¿no? Hay que seguir las instrucciones y eso hace que el trabajo se haga más fácil. Así que me dejé guiar por ellos y creo que los resultados se han notado.
Teamwork is extremely important. I've had Don Nacho Beristain in my corner and Memo Heredia working on the physical portion, and I've really listened to them. I understand what's at stake, so I will be following their instructions. 5 de Mayo, once again, 2 Mexican fighters headline. How important is it for you to represent Mexico with your heart, with your passion, and with your skills on Saturday night?
Sí, es muy importante un 5 de mayo, 2 mexicanos peleando otra vez. Eso es importante para que las fechas estas pues nos pertenezcan a los mexicanos. Me siento muy contento, muy emocionado y es yo creo que va a ser una gran pelea.
I expect a great fight. I'm very excited to take over 5 de Mayo, to have 2 great Mexican fighters headlining in Las Vegas is what it's all about, so you should expect a great fight. Thank you. With Julio Cesar Chavez, I'm Bernardo Osuna.
That was Bernardo Osuna with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So you heard a couple of different things. And Doug, before we went to that, I was talking to you about that weight. We haven't seen him weigh this amount in a while.
Yeah, and you can tell it's a strain on his system. He seemed uncomfortable, at the very least fidgety during the entire press conference. He never took his hat off. He did take his sunglasses off, you know, when he was up at the podium.
Why is that significant, though? You guys kept talking about it.
Sometimes when you're really struggling to make weight, your eyes are glazed over. There's a certain look in your eyes, and boxing people can tell. Certainly people are going to be betting money on the fight. I know a lot of people were tuning in to this stream and this press conference because they wanted to see what he looked like. He looks very lean. Now, yesterday he seemed okay. He spoke well. Today, he was kind of short with his answers. I think today and tomorrow are going to be very long days for Chavez Jr.
Chavez Jr.'s opponent, Canelo Alvarez, alongside Bernardo Osuna.
Alongside Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul, what do you need to do on Saturday night to make sure that this fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. belongs along the great fights, the Zárate Zamora, the Castillo Olivares, the Barrera Morales?
No, siempre que hay 2 mexicanos arriba de un cuadrilátero es garantía de una gran pelea. Pondré todo de mi parte para que sea una gran pelea y dejar marcada esta pelea en la historia del boxeo mexicano. Eso hice una gran preparación, será una pelea dura, pero lo importante es que estamos listos y estamos listos para dar una gran pelea y que quede marcada esta pelea.
I understand what this fight means to Mexico and Mexican history. I've prepared to give the type of fight that those great fighters gave in the past, and I'm prepared exactly for what this fight entails, and I will make history against Julio Cesar Chavez. Why did this fight become so personal, Saúl?
No, obviamente tantos años ya que se ha hablado de esta rivalidad, ¿no? Yo creo que es por eso que tiene esta rivalidad, esto personal y bueno, tiene ese extra, ¿no? Entonces, tiene eso extra y la gente va a disfrutar de una gran pelea.
Simply put, this fight has been simmering for so many years, so there's going to be that extra ingredient. We've both wanted to fight each other for so long, so yes, it is personal against Chavez Jr. You saw Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. face-to-face here at the Cott Theater. I remember in the month of February, you were also face-to-face. What was different?
No, para mí realmente el face-to-face no significa nada. Es una pose que tenemos que hacer, ¿no? Para la prensa. Obviamente sí, se siente la adrenalina, ¿no? De ya querer pelear, pero puedes ver cosas y decir que puedes ver en su mirada, pero al final del día creo que no significa nada.
The face-off really doesn't mean anything. It's just something we have to do for the press. And yes, you can say, hey, I saw something in the look in his eye or whatever, but it really doesn't mean anything. What really means something is that we're both ready and we're both standing here face-to-face, ready to give our all. Mexico, 5 de Mayo, Canelo Chavez. What does it mean to you to represent Mexico?
No, me siento muy orgulloso de estar en estas fechas tan importantes. Representando a México, creo que se deben de sentir muy orgullosos ellos también, de que 2 mexicanos estamos acaparando el boxeo mundial. Creo que es un orgullo para mí poder estar haciendo historia y espero la gente de México también lo sienta.
I'm extremely proud because 2 Mexican fighters are headlining in Vegas in a very important day that belongs to Mexicans. Every Mexican should feel extremely proud about that because we feel proud and we're going to make them proud once we step into the ring on Saturday. With Saul Canelo Alvarez, I'm Bernardo Osuna.
Saturday night in Las Vegas, pay-per-view at the T-Mobile Arena. Saul Canelo Alvarez, Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. And it's going to be a battle of 2 Mexican fighters going at it. And Steve, you said it when you got here to the hotel. You felt a buzz, some animosity. You know these 2 fighters, and they stare at each other in the face-off. Saul even said it. They have to do it, but you know they're looking at each other like, I want to get at you.
Yeah, I was here 5 years ago, as was Doug, September of 2012, where basically Chavez at that point was the Mexican star. He relegated Canelo to being the other fight that weekend as he took on Sergio Martinez. Now, since that point, one man's stock has rose significantly. That has been Canelo. While, quite frankly, Canelo's stock has risen, Chavez has gone Enron. It's gone to rock bottom. But with one fight, with one victory, he can erase all of that. But I think Friday is key. Keep this in mind, what Doug added. The lowest Chavez has been since 2012, since that Martinez fight, is 167.5. He's been as high as 172. I think the weigh-in is everything, guys.
That weigh-in is going to be Friday. If you watch it here on ringtv.com. Later on this afternoon will be the undercard workout at 3 o'clock Pacific time. And the weight you mentioned, though, Steve, 164.5 pounds. Doug, that's a significant amount because there's something in the contract, right? If he's over?
Yeah, for every pound over, he has to pay
Oh.
$1 million. That's
per
got to be a
pound.
record.
Per pound.
Per pound.
Right.
And you have a great column, you editor at ringtv.com, Doug. The buzz in the community, especially in the boxing community, for this one. The camps are picking their sides, but everybody's excited to watch this, aren't they?
Yeah, these 2 guys, they're not just the 2 biggest Mexican stars. They're 2 of the biggest better known boxers on the planet right now. They have dedicated fan bases, but hardcore fans internationally know who they are. They know how the styles play out if they're hardcore fight fans. They know that Canelo likes to stake out the center of a ring. He's a great combination puncher. They know that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at his best is a pressure fighter and a volume puncher. That makes for an excellent, entertaining fight.
And that'll be Saturday night, T-Mobile Arena, pay-per-view. Go and check it out. Cinco de Mayo weekend is coming up, and Las Vegas is already buzzing. 3 o'clock this afternoon, the undercard workouts. We'll see David Lemieux, Lucas Matisse, Joseph Diaz Jr., and some of the other rising prospects that Golden Boy Promotions has. There you see the Las Vegas Strip. We are at the MGM Grand. That's it. The last time you'll hear Canelo and Chavez talk. Then Saturday night, they're going to lace up the gloves and go at it. Cinco de Mayo weekend. For Steve Kim and Beto Duran. For Steve Kim, Doug Fisher, I'm Beto Duran saying thank you. Adios. We'll see you at 3 on ringtv.com.